Now I'm going to show you how to place a background in your rendering. Okay, I've got my rendering open in Photoshop. Now I'm going to go to Google and I'm going to perform a search for images. I've chosen background, trees, sky. I think there are lots of combinations that will work. Golf courses usually give you pretty good results. Make sure that you click on Tools so that you can change the size to something large. Okay, now what you're looking for is a background image that is majority sky. See, this one doesn't have nearly enough sky to it. Something like this is great, although it doesn't have trees along the horizon line. So I probably wouldn't choose it, but I do like the amount of sky here. That just simply gives you more control for positioning the image. This one would be fantastic, although you'd have to make sure that none of the water showed through. Now this can take a lot of time, so I'm not going to spend any more time finding the right one. I've got some that I've already saved. Also, I want you to be careful of something like this. This is a very loud sky, okay, and I call it loud because it's so busy. It draws a lot of attention to itself. If not for these busy, loud clouds, this ought to be great. We've got trees along the horizon. We're showing a good percentage of sky. Spend some time, find the right one, and then do a right-click, save image as, and go put that in some directory where you can easily find it again. Okay, now I'm going to go back to Photoshop. Open up the folder where I've just saved the image that I found. Here's some that I've collected previously. And then you simply click on the image and just drag it. Just drag it right into Photoshop. Okay, if it's not large enough, you can scale it. Just click on any one of these grips and make it larger. If it's really small to begin with, it's probably not the right image. If it's anything close, then it will work. Now, if you'll hold down Shift, it will lock the proportions as I resize. Okay, another way of doing that would be to simply click on the little lock icon, little chain up here, and that would also constrain the proportions. Sometimes you don't want to constrain proportions. Sometimes it's okay to stretch it vertically or maybe horizontally to make it a better match for your image. Anyways, once I decide that I like it, you have to click on the check mark. You can't make any other adjustments to this without clicking on the check mark to tell it, I now accept the size. Okay, once done, click on the four-way arrow at the top. That's your move button, and I can reposition this. And I'm just trying to find that horizon line and tree line so that they actually work with my rendering. Okay, once I've done that, I'm just about done. However, it might be a good idea to do a comparison. If there are 2, maybe 3 images that you've liked, try the other one, bring it in. And perhaps one thing I should mention is that as I'm bringing these into my rendering, the layer order is such that the sky is behind my house. Now I'm going to accept this and show you that sometimes an image will come in as the very first layer. And of course you can no longer see the house. Now you don't need to use a masking region. All you need to do is select the layer and move it to the right order, which is behind the house. This is my house layer. And then, just like I did last time, I'm going to reposition. When you want to reposition, you've got to be careful to make sure that the active layer is selected down here. Whichever is selected will be the one that moves. Sometimes you'll move a layer around even though you can't see it. That's what's happening here. I've got the wrong active layer in my layers palette. So I'll go back, click on the one that I want, reposition. Perhaps I even need to transform it. It looks like there's a gap over here, so I'm going to say Edit, Free Transform, or you can just type in Control-T, and that brings us back to where we were stretching images. Click on the check mark again, and I'm done. However, if I want to know for comparison whether or not this is the best image, I'll click on the eyeball next to the layer, which will turn it off. That brings up the layer behind it. Needs to be repositioned again. And now I'll go back and I'll toggle between the two to help me determine which one is best suited for my rendering. And you can do this with as many layers. 3, 4, as many pictures as you've found. And when I'm done, I might decide, you know what, this is the best one. So I'll click on the unwanted layer and I can just scrap it. Pull it down to the trash can. Now it's gone. I'm left with the one that I actually wanted, and I've placed my background.